I just want everybody to understand that if this storm keeps on this track, keeps intensifying, in other words, if this forecast is right, we need to be prepared.
Right.
This is the one that we've been talking about. This is the one we want to beat everybody over the head with and say, this is the one we don't mess with.
I congratulate every volunteer that's come down. I give them my heart and my soul, and I'm going to say thank you on public TV.
Tell me a little bit about the situation in Mississippi. It's been, what, 9 months now. How are things down the Gulf Coast?
You know, I tell you, there's been progress, but it's been slow progress. It's pretty much the same for everyone. There's a shortage of labor. There's a shortage of materials, supplies. It's still a tough situation, but things are moving forward. People are strong. People are, tough back home. Pretty much been through this before with Hurricane Camille, and rebuilt, and we'll come back again. And people will stand up and come together and pull it through. But I can tell you, the support and help that we've received from other people in other places, just like this, this event here, and the people in Wisconsin, it's been tremendous, and, would not be where we are today without that help. And, on behalf of, my family and friends and people of the Gulf Coast and Mississippi, I want to say, sincere thanks, and we truly appreciate it, and, it's definitely been a big help.
We're a group that's been going down to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, down to past Christiane, Waveland, and Bay St. Louis, and fixing homes for folks that were wiped out from the hurricane.
When you got down there, were you shocked?
That storm surge was 80 miles wide in that area, 35 feet deep, and it traveled inland up to 18 miles. So to put that in perspective, that would go from Gills Rock all the way to Appleton. All those communities would completely be underwater. So that's what you can imagine what you'd come upon. All those homes were under 30, 35 feet of water.
So we've got a lot of Northeast Wisconsin folks down there helping to rebuild, and I know Benita was here. Benita Favre was here after the hurricane hit, talking about how devastating it was to your own family's home. How are things now?
Well, it's, 10 months, 1 week, and we're still not in our homes. We're getting there little by little. Without the help of the volunteers, people would not be near as they are, to get in their homes. I've had several groups to come in and help us. There was through the churches and people like Pete. So the problem down there is getting the help. Yeah. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone needs help. There's still people in trailers. The FEMA has been a joke. Nobody was prepared for anything this widespread. And it's so depressing when you go like to past Christiane. And now that they've cleaned the debris, it looks like they've dropped an atomic bomb there. It's just, you can see the beach from the railroad tracks. So you used to have these beautiful antebellum homes, and they're gone.
Hurricane Katrina ripped apart Kiln and the surrounding communities, and the sights became much more somber.
It was sad.
It was terrible.
It was really sad.
It was terrible. There was trees down everywhere, buildings blown away, and just, it was awful.
Back in Green Bay, Pete D'Amico could think of only one way to help. Another pilgrimage, this time with a new purpose. Just days after the storm, he was on his way to Kiln.
Our mission every trip is to try to produce as many man-hours and help as many people as we can. We've been able to help about 44 families get back in their homes.
This is the fund's 20th trip since Katrina, and so what started out as football fanaticism has turned into something more noble. Although it's still fun to see his hometown, they're not trying to impress Favre. He doesn't even know the extent of their work.
I think Brett, growing up in this area, has given the initial attachment to the people from Northeast Wisconsin to come down here and help. But once they've come here, it's that friendship and camaraderie they've built up with the local people down there that brings them back and wants them to help again.
The biggest godsend anybody could do.
They've helped folks like Terry Richter, who since losing everything to Katrina has been trying to rebuild for 2.5 years. On this trip, Wisconsin electricians wired his house, work that he otherwise couldn't afford, finally allowing him to imagine future Sunday afternoons.
My couch, maybe my recliners over here, we'll be watching the Green Bay Packers play. Never had anybody help me out like this, ever. Thank you, guys.
The need is still so great down here, and the biggest problem is it's not really newsworthy anymore. These areas are only 20% rebuilt. You know, that's a long way back.
So on a week when Favre and the Packers rested, the Gulf Coast Relief Fund drilled, painted, and nailed. And after a hard day's work, they were treated to a good old-fashioned Mississippi shrimp boil. The chance to relax would be brief. It was back to work early the next morning. These, after all, are Packer fans, notoriously dedicated to their cause.
It's 2.5 years after the storm. There's still 80% of the homes got to be rebuilt. You're going to stick it out and rebuild a few more homes.